All right, good morning out there. Today's Friday, June 13th, 2025. I'm Anthony, and this is Drive Dive. So, it occurred to me that it's Father's Day this weekend. I was going to just talk about my weekend and what I wanted to do tonight and all that stuff. And I went, oh yeah, it's Father's Day. So, I'll start off with that a little bit, where tonight I'm hoping that, after work, I'm going to get to go to the chiropractor and then go home and cut the grass. Right after that, I'd love to maybe somewhere in there, eat dinner, hang out with the family for a little bit before their bedtime, and I'd like to work out. But I don't know if it's going to go that way, right? And it sounds like I'm doing a lot of stuff by myself, right? Maybe in just a smidge of family time. And that's like some thoughts about, being a father, right? It's like, that's the dilemma. It's these duties and responsibilities. Like, I don't want to actually have to cut the grass, right? It's something that just needs to get done, and well, who's going to do it? It's a dad job, right? So I would like to be able to take care of that thing. The working out, yeah, sure, that's for me, right? Going to the chiropractor, yeah, that's for me, but like being a dad, it's like, I don't know, like you got a family and you want to spend time with him, I'd like to be able to do that, as well. But there's all those things, right? And spend time with my wife and connect and, watch a movie, relax, but the kids and all this, right? It's just, there's so much going on, what you, like if there were no pressures, demands, like the things that you'd want to do, like, yeah, I'd love to, hang out, go get some ice cream as a family, spend a day at an amusement park or something, but I don't anticipate those things happening, and they're not always so easy to make happen because of all these other things that are, I don't know, just not in the way, but it's like just things that have to get done. Even like grocery shopping to make sure there's like food in the house and stuff like that. Like, I realized last night, like, yep, I'm out of yogurt, or this morning it's, my wife had some milk and there was some milk left, but then my daughter asked for milk and then there was no milk left for dad, and so it's like sometimes being a dad is like, man, like what about me, but I have to say, it's like there's no better joy than getting to just be with your kids, right? Like I remember just all these little moments when they were babies, right, and grabbing your hand and like bringing it to their face, right, like realizing like how large your hand is, right? And how big daddy's hand is. Like, this thing covers my face. And just all the nonverbal communication and the puzzle, the riddle, right, of trying to figure out, what your child is telling you or asking you for, right? It's just a lot of fun. Yes, it's a pain when it's the middle of the night and you'd rather be sleeping and taking care of yourself in that way, but you have to tend to their needs, but it's fun, right, to try to figure those things out. Like I remember, holding my son when he was a baby and not sleeping through the night and like doing lunges up and down the hallway, would calm him down, and so figuring that out, it's like, yeah, maybe in the moment you're tired and it's frustrating, but then you could say, you know what, I guess this is a good time for a workout, and a few extra pounds of resistance, never hurt anyone. So let's do it, right? Or, last night with my daughter, she's, come daddy, come. And then so I'm following her around and she's just kind of slowly, leading through. We happened to be at a brewery for a soccer banquet, so she's leading me through, and, she's all like, cute and coy about it. And then, she eyes these bags of popcorn. She turns and looks at me and gives me that darn look, that smile, the body language and the hip and the shoulder and like she's doing her thing, like laying on the charm. Am I a sucker for giving in? Should I have spent $5 on this, little bag of popcorn? Like, but how do I say no, right? And so it's moments like that where you're like, yep, this is what being a dad's about, man. I get to hang out with my kids, watch them mature, put smiles on their faces, and just watch them have fun and grow. And talk to other dads, right, about these things, and moms, and just like, no, talk about parenting, and like, listen, it's not going to last forever. She's not going to ask me to pick her up all the time. So when she asks me to pick her up, I'm picking her up, dang it. There's nothing's getting in the way, right? And that's, maybe that's a struggle at times. It's like trying to get stuff done, trying to cut the grass, or, whatever those chores happen to be. But when they look at you and they, come daddy, or, hey dad, can we play Fortnite? Can we play Disney Lorcana? Yeah, sure, man. Like, let's do it. I'll figure all that stuff out later. I can, it's like if I could cut the grass at 3 a.m., like I would, right? Just to make that time, for the kids. And so, yeah, that's it. I hope to get some moments like that. And it's fun too to, as my son, is maturing and having these conversations about the way that I grew up versus where he is in life now, and what maybe I envision for him, just this idea of like, I didn't have a whole lot of options growing up, and, yes, I was fortunate enough to be able to go to college, but, that only happened because of financial aid and scholarship money, and even then, like, I couldn't go to just any school. So, I knew I was going to go, I had to go in-state, and it had to be a public school, right? Like, something that was still very, very affordable, within, like I said, that financial aid and scholarship money. But then explaining to him that he's going to have so many more options and opportunities, to use this phrase that an educator, a questionable educator once used, but it's still a nice phrase. Yeah, options and opportunities, and being aware of the fact that, yeah, you are going to have to make some, big boy decisions at some point in your life, and while it might be painful, also be appreciative and thankful for the fact that you do have these, options and opportunities, right? It's like, and maybe it connects back to being a dad, and what I was saying, it's like, yes, at times it's a dilemma, do I do this, do I do that, do I do this, do I do that, but you also have to be thankful that, yeah, to have this family, to have this house, to have this job, right? It's like, be thankful, right? And they're not always options for a lot of people, and so, yeah, you make it work, so that's, I don't know, that's what's for me, at least right now, with younger children, and my wife and I, wanting to spend time together, but struggling to do that and all. I think that's what a lot of couples go through, right? In different phases, and we adjust, and there are these dilemmas, but it's, hey man, like, be thankful. We're here, we're together, we're trying. The kids want us. The house, our friends, our families, need us, right? Like as a dad, and knowing how to get a lawnmower started, I got the call from my mom, and had to run and take care of that, and I was like, well, I wanted to go to Home Depot anyway, I'll just go to a different Home Depot, spend a little bit more time in the car, and but still maybe, check some of the things off the list, but not quite everything, and it's never perfect, but to be thankful. And so for that, it's like, us dads, like, dude, we are not perfect. I got all my stuff together this morning. I got my son and all his stuff together, and then I got some sunscreen on them for they're gonna be outdoors a lot today at school. And then we get to school, I could have sworn Mommy said something about like water bottles being in his bag or something, and I went, oh dude, we don't have, are there water bottles in your bag? Because I realized, nope, we left the house without a water bottle for him. So it's I feel terrible about it. Tried to do everything I could, right? It's like getting ready in the morning, and my daughter wakes up, and daddy, so I'm laying with her, and then I end up a little bit pressed for time, so maybe I rushed and forgot the water, and I'm sorry for that, and yeah, it's never perfect, but we're trying, right? And so that's what we have to be thankful for. And so, I don't know, find a dad, hug a dad, thank a dad, I don't want to get into my daddy issues, but yeah, do the best I can to be a good father, to be a good husband, and I'm sure that every dad out there is doing the same thing in their own way. So find them, hug them, love them, thank them, all that good stuff. That's it. I'm rambling. Happy Friday. Sunny. Enjoy. I'll catch you on Monday. Take care.